we've talked a lot over the years around here, Stugotz, about the way athletes can be selfish and competitive. Human beings can be selfish and competitive in ways, even as we talk about team and teamwork in sports, that make it so Michael Irvin is jealous that Alvin Harper and yelling at him as he runs down the field, hey, that's my Super Bowl touchdown, while it's happening. The question I have is, how cutthroat do you believe athletes would be about wanting to win comeback player of the year in the NFL? If you are Baker Mayfield, or you are Josh Dobbs, or you are Lamar Jackson, how cutthroat do you believe those people would be about wanting to win an award that might seem silly? I don't think anybody cares about who is the comeback player of the year in the NFL.
The players might care, though.
I'm asking you, do you think any of those people I just mentioned, do you think that Baker Mayfield wants to beat Josh Dobbs or TJ Watt for comeback player of the year?
Yes, I don't think Lamar Jackson cares. I think it matters, Dan, who the person is. For Baker, that would mean a lot based on what he's gone through. For Lamar Jackson, he's thinking bigger, so he doesn't care. But yes, I do think that some of those guys would love to win that award, and they're competitive about it.
Well, we all know what's hanging over this award. There is a pretty strong betting favorite, but I would venture that there is one person that is gunning for the betting favorite, and he joins Pat McAfee every Tuesday.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that there's one person that won't let Damar Hamlin have that award.
Darius Butler?
because he's not beating the odds. No, he's beating science. And I actually enjoyed Aaron's appearance on Pat McAfee the last week because I got a little bit more insight as to what this is all about. And he made a lot of sense. It's like, look, the timelines on these things, on the Achilles injuries, are different. Like, I got hurt on the very first drive that I had. I'm also not Klay Thompson. I don't have a lot of time. So we were talking about earlier in the week how he's pushing this because this is his window. He's actually pretty rational about his closing window. But what's going on here is he's fighting science. This season, I'm not saying it's not about on-field success for the Jets. I'm saying right up there in things Aaron Rodgers personally wants to achieve. If you want to tell me he's more dead set on overcoming science and traditional timelines than actually helping the Jets win this year, I'd hear you out because it feels like it's bigger than just getting on the field for the Jets and helping them win games.
I've done some reporting on this, and that's why his doctors are fake and the injury was never real. And it's not reckless speculation. It's according to sources.
What does that mean?
Which part?
The injury was never real. It wasn't an Achilles injury?
That's right. It was misreported. It was like immunized. It was like a word. They said Achilles heel, but it's not Achilles heel. It's something less serious than Achilles heel.
By way of
something like the flu.
By way of example, remember when Durant got hurt in the playoffs with the Warriors?
It was like a window drape going up his calf.
And then came back and then ruptured his Achilles. Everyone thought that original injury was an Achilles, but it wasn't. It was a calf injury. And then he injured his Achilles. You're saying that what Aaron Rodgers has suffered is closer to Durant's first injury.
I've done an additional reporting that would suggest that he hasn't even been that injured the last few months.
Really digging, huh?
This is yeah.
Now you want to buy it.
I mean, you should have said this when you were wearing one of those silly costumes. That would have been the day where it would have been viral.
That would have been good. You want me to do it over again? I've got an F1 costume out there. The helmet doesn't fit. It's very tight.
That's even better.
It's very
It's
tight.
not supposed to be comfortable.
Oh no, but I can't do a full show that way.
Just do the take though.
Right. So you're saying that this injury, you're questioning it, but let's just say it's very clearly affecting him differently. And kudos to the Jets for moving forward because you can't just stop everything because some people are affected differently than these things. Look, this could be a career ender for some. But for him, you're saying it's not even that bad. It's kind of like the flu.
I'm saying it's yet another addendum to the NFL, clearly. And this was underreported last year, clearly scripted.
Emphasis on dumb.
obviously and clearly scripted. In a way, I feel like people are denying that or mocking that or thinking that that's not a real thing. It's all clearly scripted, and Comeback Player of the Year ends with not only racism ended in the end zone, but also science ended because Aaron Rodgers came back from an injury that couldn't possibly happen that early in a career when the Jets are snake bitten, and like it's ridiculous. Like it can't. It's
He's
not
gonna end science.
right.
You're alleging that the script, as it pertains to the Comeback Player of the Year award, has Aaron Rodgers coming back and Damar Hamlin being the too many men on the field person at the end of a Monday Night Football game.
Allegedly.
The part.
Not Damar Hamlin getting a sack on a blitz to end the game, but Damar Hamlin getting penalized on a field goal attempt.
You took this segment a place I was not expecting that is now going to get me in trouble. The place I was just going was, do you think Josh Dobbs is mad that Damar Hamlin has half a tackle? because he's
going to get that award.
Right.
Yes,
that Damar Hamlin doesn't have to do anything statistically other than get half a tackle for Baker Mayfield to fall to his knees. Do you know how hard it was for me to come back?
When Damar got on the field, I was trying to watch him as best I could. They had him matched up on the tight end, and I'm like, man, you're so lucky Russell Wilson's not throwing the ball downfield right now. You're getting cooked.
Troutman was open every time.
Getting cooked.
He just had to step on a field, though, right? He wins that award.
Well, I was surprised that they didn't make a bigger deal. You could hear some commotion in the crowd because some people are watching, but when he was in on the tackle, I would have expected an eruption because a PA announcer would have been, and on the tackle, number 3, Damar Hamlin. There wasn't that. And Aikman and Buck, it was weird how they went about it because I know the game's on the line, but this is a monumental achievement, and it's not like there hasn't been attention paid to the Damar Hamlin saga on main primetime broadcasts all season long. He checks in, and not only does he check in for the first time all season, he checks in on a crucial drive. He could make a play that wins the game for the Buffalo Bills, and Buck noticed that he was out there, said as much, but it was tertiary to what was happening on the field, and I was really surprised by that.
Let me ask all of you around the discomforts that there are, because people write in all the time some version of, does Dan even like football at all?
Yeah,
it
doesn't
seems,
Well, do you?
It seems like he legitimately hates 95% of everything NFL related. I don't actually hate the part that I'm about to tell you, but the part I do find problematic, the piece of it is, when you sell me Ryan Shazier is walking again as an inspirational story, or you try and redo the Pat Tillman story in your Super Bowl commercials, Damar Hamlin as an inspirational case when he is the embodiment, the physical embodiment of the ethical conundrum at the center of that sport, it should make you deeply uncomfortable that someone almost died on a field, and him getting back out there is a symbol of courage and also something that can still make you deeply uncomfortable, as if you didn't go away. They canceled a game on Monday night. Do you know how much? Like, we don't do that. That sport doesn't stop for anything or anyone except one dude whose name forever now is word association with. That dude died on the field, and he came back and got half a tackle, decimated secondary that ends up with Ken Dorsey being fired over it because they're so out of bodies halfway through the season that they got to go bring the guy who's famous for being dead on the field out there to go win
That's
the comeback.
harsh.
But that's...
You're screaming. What are you doing? It can be both, Dan. I mean, it can be the NFL's problem and be courageous at the same time.
For me, this segment's probably not going to go the way that I want it. I want to be very clear. Well, I want to be very clear. I am rooting for Aaron Rodgers to come back. I mean, no one's going to really recall this, but there was a 19-year-old soccer player that suffered an Achilles injury for Chelsea. His name was Callum Hudson-Odoi. He returned back to training 4 months after the Achilles injury, started playing 5 months. He only missed 11 games. There was an offseason in there that skews it, but he only missed 11 games. He wasn't the same player, but till now, that is the craziest return I had ever seen in terms of an injury that used to be a death sentence for some in that sport, ended careers. Someone came back from it in 4 months. If a quarterback can do it within the same season, who wouldn't want to see that? And if he can play at a high level too, my God, that's incredible. I'm rooting to see it happen because I
Because
want
you
to
have
see
a bet on it.
No. Although now that you mention it,
DraftKings Sportsbook.
now that you mention it, he could get some value if he just merely comes back. I'm not saying it's more impressive that Aaron Rodgers is coming back from an Achilles a couple of weeks after suffering it initially than a person that came back to life entering a football field. But I would say once it was made pretty clear that Damar Hamlin would get the clearance from the doctors to return to the field, we knew that day would be coming. No one ever envisioned Aaron Rodgers coming back to the field the same season that he, for some, laughably got injured on the very first drive as a New York Jet. It's pretty cool.
I just want to be clear. So you're saying that Aaron Rodgers coming back from an injury that people call a death sentence is more impressive than a guy who actually came back from death.
From a death sentence.
Yeah. Got it.
No, I'm not.
He's gambling again.
I'm not, which is why I know this segment's not going to land right for me because I didn't say that. I felt like I went out of my way to not say that. You're saying I'm saying
The
that.
disrespect from Dan to Damar Hamlin in this segment. He has 2 times the amount of tackles that you said he did.
He didn't have half a tackle?
It's 1 tackle.
Yeah.
He had a full tackle?
A full
Full
tackle.
tackle.
What?
Big play,
So
too.
just the half tackle thing. I was like, I got to look this up.
I apologize. It's the worst thing I said during this segment.
Give him credit.
Can I be the awful person in the room?
Wait, before you be awful, I just want to be a ray of sunlight. I think it's amazing that Aaron Rodgers is coming back this soon. Like, this is the most incredible story in football, in my opinion. I want to see that brother come back and do well. Salute to you, Aaron Rodgers. I got your back.
Salute. He hasn't done it yet.
All right.
He's speaking with such purpose on it.
This is what I want to see. I want to see him come out, hold the flag, run out the tunnel. Everyone's like, oh, my God, Aaron Rodgers is back. Coin toss, call it in the air. Like, we want the ball and the win. Oh, snap, he's calling it.
First play.
First play.
No, don't wish this on him.
want-
No.
He really
The other
tears
ain't
his
not,
Achilles?
not doing that.
No.
Just saying
no.
not doing that.
I just
No.
want to see
No.
a,
Ricky
a,
Bobby.
No.
a foot and a knee,
No.
and everything else is gone, and just blood spurting out of it.
No. What are you doing?
That's not
What are you doing?
This is all going to fall on Dan.
The first possession.
What are you doing?
It has to be the first possession.
No.
has to be.
First play.
This is all falling on Dan.
No.
Did you guys think he was going to say something good when he said, "Can I be awful for a second?" He's asking for permission to be awful.
Yes.
More awful than usual, even.
Come on.
Get well soon, Aaron
I
Rodgers.
don't want this whole
Rooting for you.
this whole segment sticking to me, nor the fact that if I had a vote, I would vote for Baker Mayfield over Damar Hamlin.
What?
Wow.
Hey, higher yards per attempt than Joe Burrow.
Jessica, are you comfortable?
Actually, yes. Believe it or not. I've been sitting in the back lately. It's great. I got a whole view of the front row. I don't have to crane my neck around. I feel much taller. It's much more comfortable back here.
What are you laughing about, Amin? As you drink
heard
your
the cough. You
soda,
don't have to hit the button.
$5. You owe $5.
He's
You're
choking.
Going,
Hold on
going,
a second.
Okay.
Are you okay? I mean, Jesus. Like, he's really choking.
Pat his back. Yeah,
All we
there
want
you
is
go.
just $5.
I mean, we're on air. We got to
I
make
mean,
content of
It
it.
went down the wrong pipe.
All right. You okay now?
Why do we have so many pipes?
$5.
One for breathing, one for eating.
There's no two.
I'm
Can we get
laughing.
to the bottom of that? What's the wrong pipe? Is that
The breathing
Okay.
pipe.
Food going down the breathing pipe.
Sorry for interrupting.
It's a great question. No, it's a great question.
Glad we
Let's
got to the
gather
bottom of it.
ourselves. I mean, are you okay now? Because your eyes are still watering. You're smothering and pushing down in the name of doing your job, but you don't seem well.
I'm all right. We might have a Damar Hamlin situation. I don't know, but then I'll be the comeback podcaster of the year.
What happens if air goes down the food pipe?
That's when you burp.
I don't know if that's true.
It's going up the food pipe.
Touche.
Air bubble goes in, and that's what creates all that. But I'm laughing because Jessica's like the kid who sat in the front of the class, and then one day sat in the back of the class with the ne'er-do-wells, and she's like, "Oh, this is so much more fun." And so now she's got her feet up. She's blowing spit bubbles and stuff, man. You're gonna lose her, Dan.
Well,
you're gonna lose her back there.
Well, I feel like I've lost her a couple of times during the times that we've been talking today because I don't know whether she is getting distracted by following, this is the time of year when flight paths are something that she is monitoring, and it's a bit of an obsession, and it gets in the way. Historically, it's gotten in the way of her work because she's obsessed with this.
Well, she is working, technically.
Is she?
I know, but much of that jet information is not on our air. It's not journalistically sound.
It's private. I don't want to be wrong. I'll send it to my private college football group chat, Lucy and Taylor.
I'd like to break a story at some
Sorry,
point. I'd like to break a story because she's following a Jet better than other Jet followers.
Like Stugotz?
But also because she has been obsessed with a handful of stories that are like sports adjacent. Because I don't think whatever happened with that Arkansas team that you're interested in because it's the Arkansas team. I believe it's what they were watching during the game. A bunch of redshirt freshmen during a game were not interested in the actual game. They were distracted.
Yes, Arkansas has been having a really tough season. Sam Pittman, their head coach, probably on the hot seat. His buyout will go down if his all-time record gets below 500, and it's been pretty precarious this season.
Dan Enos, their offensive coordinator, was emailing back and forth before they stripped him of play calling duties. He was arguing on company email. He was arguing with students.
Yes, and now I believe he's been let go. It's been a rough season, and then a photo got it went a bit viral on the internet of players watching the film Polar Express in the locker room during halftime of their game this past weekend. And it was something that is one of those things that, like, first of all, these were redshirt players, so they weren't going to actually play in the game. And they're in a separate locker room than the main locker room, supposedly. So this wasn't really, I guess, distracting to the players that had to play in the game. But you would hope that, like, maybe your whole team would be, together as one, trying to figure out a way to win the game together. But no, they're watching Polar Express. So not a great look for them. And Sam Pittman had to say during his press conference that he's addressed it. They've talked about it. They know they shouldn't have been watching Polar Express during halftime. They were wrong.
Arkansas scored 3 points against Texas A&M. Is that the game? Jimbo Fisher gets bought out. Which was the game, or was it Mississippi State?
That was Mississippi State, and
Okay.
both head coaches fired afterwards.
Jimbo Fisher has made $26,000 today. Just letting you know.
Damn.
You're just counting every day that
Every
Jimbo.
day.
So that buyout got Stugotz's attention. He didn't get to talk about that buyout quite enough. The idea that somebody just gets paid nearly $80 million to please go away. Stugotz just found something that he'd rather win than the lottery.
A buyout?
Stugotz made $30,000 this morning.
It's true. I mean, I feel like the Jimbo buyout was a bit of a Schrodinger's buyout situation. As soon as you found out, wow, his buyout's like $100 million, that's going to come up later. That's not the last you're going to hear of it. And lo and behold, 6 years later, $77 million not to coach again at Texas A&M, the most inevitable thing in the world.
Classic Schrodinger sitch.
You have a movie podcast.
Dingy.
Yeah, but Adnan handles the smart on that one. Cinephile, produced by Chris Cody. In other locker room news in college football,
Before we move on, why are they watching Polar Express? You have every movie available known to man. Why was Polar Express the selection?
Inspirational.
Is it?
It gets the people going.
That time
I
of
don't
year.
know if it is.
Christmas
Isn't
time, yeah.
Polar Express is known for having like kind of weird animation
Super
in it, right?
weird.
Like it's very kind of creepy.
Very creepy. No, I'm like,
There's
what?
better Christmas movies for sure.
Also, by the way, if you're a red shirt, you should not be suited up. Pads and headbands. You're not playing.
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary. Put on your sweats.
Cost money.
At any moment in time, though, you can be called into action because you cease being a red shirt. After 4 games, they're at the point in the season where they can get called in any time.
But in game?
Ja'Cory Brown hasn't taken his helmet off over the last 2 weeks. And he also hasn't moved from the same spot on the sideline.
They can all lose their red shirt. They can all give it up for one. They can give up a season for a couple of games at the end if the team needs them. That's the deal.
You can play 4 games
So-
now before having to give up your year of eligibility.
So hold on. So if that's the case, shouldn't they be in the locker room with everyone else listening to the coach?
I know,
Why
but
would we put them in a different room?
I mean, I'm with you. I actually meant to reach out to some people and ask is this common for there to be 2 separate? I keep knocking over my lip gloss. For there to be 2 separate
That's lip gloss?
locker rooms.
And the whole back row experience
Classic
has
back of the
changed her.
class
It's
behavior.
totally
Classic
changed
narwhal
her.
behavior,
Look
whatever
at
you
her.
said.
She has absolutely. This is
It's a different world back
Chris
there.
Cody.
Schrodinger
Chris Cody, you could speak to this particular
Classic Schrodinger.
infection.
Dingy.
Moving to another locker room, we skipped right past after making the fun of the Colorado players for getting their jewelry stolen. It was the UCLA recruits who did that.
Thugs.
Oh my God, that is so bad.
resorted to thuggery?
The UCLA recruits are the ones who ransacked the Colorado locker room because they knew Shedeur Sanders was on the field and that his watch was in the locker room.
Watch.
How'd he play?
UCLA recruits, it's not a story. I feel like we reported more laughing at Colorado for getting their jewelry stolen than laughing at UCLA for stealing the jewelry. Why is that?
Terrible. Who was the leader? Chip Kelly?
Yeah.
Fine him. He should be fined.
Well,
should be
there,
fired.
there are reports that he's about to be fired. So
Zagak.
Who deserves more blames? Is it Chip Kelly for having these thugs come through and steal stuff? Or is it Steve Kerr for having these thugs put guys in headlocks?
Steve Kerr. Jeffrey Kerr. Exactly. He's been allowing it for years.
I don't think that you can blame Chip Kelly for the behavior of his recruits. They're not yet his
what do you
players.
mean?
They're not yet his
they're
players.
running amok all over the Rose Bowl.
But they're not his players yet. They're auditioning to be his players by stealing from the Colorado locker room.
Should have stole some plays.
Why were they just like allowed to just be wandering around though? Like I feel like that is
Exactly.
UCLA's fault for not having a little bit of like a.
He was busy with the game.
Well, not maybe him personally, but this is the whole thing with Harbaugh, where it's like you're the head of the program. Like maybe you should think of something.
Look, Dad, you busy with this show right now, but if I tweet something crazy, you will go down, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's how it works. That is correct. But I'd be arguing, whimpering into a microphone. But I don't control Juju. And no one would believe me, and they say you're responsible, and I'd be like, but that's not my fault. I don't know what he's doing when I'm not watching him, and you'd blame me, and I'd get fired, and Chip Kelly would get blamed for the behavior of his recruits, because you guys really thought, if I go up to Chip Kelly right now, hey, what did you think your recruits were going to do? Well, I thought they were going to ransack the Colorado locker room. Racist.
You said it, not me.
Why would you think that, Chip Kelly? Why would you think your recruits are stealing the jewelry from the other locker room?
It's like a heist.
I do actually wonder about that. I mean, you can speak to this. Yeah. Obviously, at the height of leadership, the buck stops with wherever it is the last stop is. But where can a leader actually credibly claim ignorance on? I mean, if not on this one, I mean, this is a silly one, obviously. But Chip Kelly can't be responsible for the behavior of his recruits, can he? They don't even play for him yet.
Okay, I'm Googling right now Chip Kelly's salary. 6.1 million a year?
Can you Google the record next? Because that'll tell me a lot.
This is a great premise for a heist film. Pretend
It really
you're a high
is.
schooler,
Yes.
sneak in, steal some stuff.
By the way, how do you
Ocean's
think
14.
Chip Kelly feels about where he is in life? Guy invented a whole new offense.
right, he's fine
Just
now.
invented it.
Yeah.
He invented the way they play football now. Everyone found a way to do it better, and he's out of a job again. Because people are running his offense better.
He'll be back.
UCLA's offense has been really struggling this year, to say the least.
He's been 33-33 at UCLA.
Right.
I know Amin knows this because he lives in the cutthroat world of sports, where even Bill Belichick can get chewed up quickly. But that part, the competitive part of people are fighting over money in the margins on smart. And he was ahead of everybody. I'm going to test their heart rates. I'm going to test their sleep. I'm going to test everything. I'm going to lose at UCLA. Holy, I've fallen behind Herm Edwards. How'd that happen?
I think someone that Amin worked with in the past, Mike D'Antoni, probably feels a similar way, and that he never made it to the very, very top. Chip Kelly made it to a championship game, but he never won the thing. And a couple of years after being crowned this genius, Mike D'Antoni's 72 years old. He's in a different spot. But they're not going to be held in the high regard because they're missing the crowning achievement.
What I would say is that Mike D'Antoni was successful at multiple stops of his career, although not the ultimate success you're talking about. Chip Kelly was successful at Oregon, and that's it.
But
First season Philadelphia, he was good.
It's all right.
but reinvented that program, made it matter, was an innovator, was a pioneer, and now it's over.
Should have stayed.
And Stugotz can say he'll get another shot because, of course, Jim Mora lives in a haunted house in Connecticut.
Yep.
Because they'll all the name
It's the rehab tour, Dan. San Diego State, you come back to a bigger school.
But he won't get that shot again. Like that's where you get passed by. Like he got passed, and there's no climbing over the people who have passed him.
He made $60 million. He's fine.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Understood, but he invented something and got passed by everybody. And if he's competitive, probably wants to keep winning. Probably doesn't want Stugotz in here stealing money and being like, "You failure! I'm going to be remaining employed longer than you."
There's only one move left for Chip Kelly, and honestly, Mike D'Antoni should consider it.
HBCU.
No, joining Nick Saban's staff.
That is where you get reinvented.
We didn't talk about Victor Wembanyama on yesterday's show.
That's fine. Let's leave it alone. We'll have more time this week.
The greatest prospect
I know.
ever.
30 more years.
You got plenty of time, Mike. He's
Greatest
19.
prospect ever.
I know.
Had as
You're
many
really
turnovers
You're
as
already annoying
shots
people.
made.
Mike, let's dole it out. We know you like the take. It's a good take.
Anytime he does anything, I see all these aggregate sites. NBA Central. Victor Wembanyama is a problem. Yeah, he's a problem. Goddamn right, he's a problem.
You got a point, because I do love when he sticks it up. It's like, how do Wembanyama do? We gotta talk about that. We talk about Draymond.
There is plenty of time for us to get to all of Mike Ryan's thoughts on Wembanyama. There's plenty of time for him to be right, and there's plenty of time for him to be wrong.
He's 8 games into his career.
He's a few more than that, but he's had some stinkers.
Half of them have been bad.
And he's 19 years old.
Bad.
I know.
Not bad for the number 1 pick. Not bad for a 19. Bad.
I'm just saying you'll have time. I'm hammering home Dan's
We're all
points.
running out of time
Okay.
before they figure out how to use them. Proceed.
Thank you. I appreciate
Chet
you.
Holmgren wasn't good either. Thank God.
I appreciate you allowing me to proceed, as you didn't get a chance on yesterday's show to talk about Wembanyama having a bad game because you wanted. You can do. I think you should do that on your Twitter feed. Exclusive access, $2.99 a month. Anybody who wants to see you gloat, you could do a daily Wembanyama segment that shouldn't be on this show. It should be for your subscribers only who really want that Wembanyama content.
It's very popular. People are starting to open their eyes.
You can do it there. We will do it here on
You
occasion.
know he's the exact same player who was in France? Nothing different.
I hope we can hate him the way that we hate Rudy Gobert just for being French. Give us time. He's got. Let's wait till he gets to his 20s before we determine whether you're right or wrong. I don't want to do it every game until he turns 20. But what I do want to do is I wanted to talk to all of you about Elon Musk said something on Joe Rogan the other day because it's a curious thing.
Just circled my calendar for 4 weeks from now.
Nice.
Turns 20.
It is a
Fair game.
It is a curious thing to buy something for $44 billion, then decide you don't want it, then get sort of strong-armed into, well, I already bought it and I kind of need to do this for the $44 billion. And then you go on Joe Rogan and he asks you why you did it. And he says, because you want to save civilization.
Mission accomplished.
This is something that Elon Musk, modern day intellectual, I think. I mean, we respect wealth and money. And I believe that he is someone who is being led. He is leading us into the future of wealth in handling business at a time when energy is going to be important. He is wealthy because he is an inventor and an innovator. I don't follow him. He is not for me, but obviously he's got an army of people behind him who think he's a freedom fighter, who believes in free speech better than the rest of us, and they think that he is someone who is worthy of a biopic with Darren Aronofsky, one of the great directors of our time, who is now doing a biopic on the life of Elon Musk because he would argue, and his people would argue, that real pioneers risk unpopularity, that he is strong and courageous, the people who are Elon Musk believers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about my Wemby take.
Would have you believe that he is worthy of being remembered by this time, at this time, for something more than being a wealth accruer. You guys both responded with what when I say a modern-day intellectual on Elon Musk? He's an innovator and inventor.
What has he invented?
I mean, let's not do this. I'm not going to be.
Okay.
I went to Miami-Dade College. I'm not going to take shots at a guy that has a space exploration company and Tesla. Like, I understand we can parse if he invented them or not.
Yeah, but he runs it, I mean.
Guys has knowledge in sectors that I think we'd all deem smart.
Okay.
He has a bachelor's degree in physics and economics.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so he's smart.
But all right, that doesn't make him like It doesn't make
I
him
have an
inventor.
intro to MassCom. That's the only prereq that I need.
You guys
to
are
take.
objecting to modern day intellectual. This man is going to be associated with innovation.
He's also going to be associated with you never getting your car. I mean,
By the way, I know who should play him in his biopic. It's the guy that played Beans on Even Stevens. Look him up. He looks exactly like Elon
Oh,
Musk.
the familiar Beans.
You know Beans from Even Stevens? Come on.
What is Even Stevens,
It
brother?
was a show like that Shia LaBeouf was on.
Oh, I
Yep.
still don't know. That's my fault. I didn't mean to be a douche.
It was a banger
That was a
Disney
douche.
show when I was a kid.
Matt LeBlanc is one of the people up for the role in the biopic.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no.
I feel
Joey?
Is there like a SAG butt crack? Like, there's no way. Matt LeBlanc.
There you go. There it is. Look at him. Tell me that's not young Elon Musk.
it's pretty good.
And if you
Beans,
see him
yeah.
now, the guy now,
Tell you that
'Cause
that's
it was-
not young Elon Musk.
I'm
trying
telling
to support him, Mike.
Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. That's Elon Musk eyes right
Matt
there.
LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc, I sneaky good pick because I
What?
can see him making the face.
Same.
Imagine
The
Matt
face
LeBlanc.
looks-
Same.
It's a good
Yeah.
square face.
Yeah.
It's a-
I'm
it's-
not
it's-
It's a
doubting.
block face.
I'm
yeah.
probably gonna
A block face.
I'm probably gonna find out Matt LeBlanc went to Juilliard or something, but he's not known for having dramatic chops.
He's got his eyes are way too big. First of all, to be Matt LeBlanc eyes could not be Elon. Elon Musk has beady little eyes.
For those of you who do not know, Darren Aronofsky not only did Requiem for a Dream, but his mother, whether you liked it or not, I believe he was dating Jennifer Lawrence at the time. She didn't understand the movie that she was making while she was making it.
It's confusing because you said it like you're talking about his mother.
Mother,
He made
yeah.
a movie called Mother.
That's correct.
His mom is not Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay,
that is
I
right.
was
That would be
really-
weird.
And he then didn't start dating his mother.
That is correct. Darren Aronofsky made a movie that is not quite popular enough for me to do on first reference, that it's called Mother without you thinking it's his actual mother. But that movie,
Needs a wig.
while he was making it, he is considered a very good director. Jennifer Lawrence was in it and didn't understand entirely what it is that she was doing. That this director would choose this. He doesn't do that much work. And that he would choose this makes Elon Musk a figure that is of the day in a way that he believes should be remembered by art. And so I ask you, Stugotz, as someone who's been making fun of Elon Musk for a long time,
Yep.
as a fraud, you were out in front before anybody, calling this person a fraud, making fun of him, saying he doesn't actually do anything to deserve this wealth that allows him to spend $44 billion on a toy. But what do you guys do with him making the argument to Joe Rogan that what he was trying to do by buying Twitter is save civilization for the 7% of people who use Twitter in civilization?
It's a bit much, isn't it, Dan?
But what's he thinking there when he's saying that? And Joe Rogan is saying that's not far-fetched to think this. It's not melodramatic to think this. You can save civilization. I'm legitimately not making fun of it. I'm asking you. Can someone please explain to me what he thinks he's doing?
These guys
there?
think they're more important than they actually are.
built-
Like
he-
Rodgers and Elon and Rogan, they all get together and they think they're saving the world.
He's building a
Guess
brand.
what? You're not. None of you are.
He's building a brand. I have a friend that theorizes that Elon Musk and his lean towards the right is all third-dimensional thinking. And he's playing 4D chess because he knows liberals are going to buy Teslas no matter what.
Increasing his constituency. That when we did this with Belichick, anytime he'd sign someone, he knew something the rest of us did not know because he had had such success. We are led to assume, Stugotz making fun of Musk or not, I believe, man, I think currency is the currency that we bestow respect to. What are you laughing about, Amin?
Currency is the currency.
Can you say that in an Emmanuel Acho voice?
Currency is the currency that we all lend respect to. If you had more currency, you would have more currency for respect.
Elon Musk bought himself popular.
You think he's popular? I know he's become more popular with the right, and he's become villainized on the left. He's certainly become more polarized, and I think generally it's a smart move for his brand because infamy is just as good as fame these days. But I do think he's doing a thing when he's saying, I'm trying to save civilization. No, I think you're playing a character when you're going on Joe Rogan's podcast I think you're just trying to gas yourself up to be that, and with an audience that'll probably be like, hoorah, yeah, we believe in that. Yes, good, stand for something.
Yeah, I think Joe Rogan is the equivalent of Taylor Rooks as far as some white guys. When you start sitting around Joe, you just start lying out your ass. You don't give a damn what you making sense or not. You just looking at Joe, he looking at you. Hey, I'm saving civilization, brother.
What a great take. Hulk Hogan, he got Taylor Rooks by Joe Rogan.
The part that
Salute.
The part that I'm not getting here, though, is we are clearly and obviously fractured, where the people who listen to that are not listening to this. We're not cross-pollinating. So, Elon Musk, you say, is he popular? And I'm like, are you crazy? Wherever it is that Elon Musk has created of his world, he's enormously popular and fighting for all the right things, supported by all the right people, who are surrounded by haters, who are the rest
All
of
the right people or all the right people?
All the white people.
Currency.
all the correct people.
Don't win an argument and lose a friend.
I don't believe that in his daily life, John Rocker walked around and said, everywhere I go. This was before social media.
Oh, man.
He was known publicly as a racist, and he's like, everywhere I go, all I feel is love. I believe we've created these insular bubbles where Elon Musk can absolutely live in a world where all of his army are people who are applauding him, and everyone who disagrees with him is just a hater who can be dismissed. And when he sits in front of Joe Rogan, he's getting the applause of that audience. It's why he's doing it on Joe Rogan. He could do it anywhere. He's doing it there because you can just keep building the echo chamber. He's not, I don't think he's, man, doesn't he seem on X like he's sensitive? Like when the criticism does reach him, it doesn't feel like he's immune to it. I believe
Because we often find out that he's later blocking. For somebody that asked, what do you think Elon Musk is doing? You seem to have a pretty firm idea on what he's doing.
I think that the world has changed around both me and Elon Musk in a way that I wasn't expecting, but he could buy himself into an alternate reality. That he can buy himself into whoever wasn't popular in high school, wherever the nerd was who gets these degrees and creates these sciences, that he gets to be more popular than he's ever been. That the high school child in him who hasn't grown up, who was building rockets all the time, now he gets to be famous. Now he gets to be popular in high school.
And he's asking for volunteers to put a chip in your brain. What about American cinema made us think, hey, that dystopian future where robots kill everybody, let's sign up for that? Who has romanticized that except for maybe the Jetsons? I don't understand. Like, we see this, and then we see all the reports. We're definitely headed in this direction, and we're like, yeah, bring it on. I want to wake up in goo like Keanu Reeves.
I'm totally left to assume that the reason that Bezos and Musk and the Virgin Airs guy, Branson, the reason they have rockets is because they know when the poor people are burning on Earth, they're going to be living somewhere else with their money, because currency is currency, even in space.
How much are they paying for the chip in the brain?